We are live.
Very cool. I apologize, guys. We have had technical issues on sound, and thank God that Amber was coming home. She's technically inclined, and she always gets me out of the weeds somehow, some way, right? There's many reasons why we got married. That was just one of the small ones.
Her technical
That's the most important reason. Yeah, there you
You
go.
do a technical shit. Okay, check box.
More important than anything else. And if she can cook, those are the two things.
Can you cook? Yes.
Yes.
Can you take care of the doggies? Yes.
Can you do tech support? Yes. Okay, let's get married.
Oh, yes, exactly. Can you shoot somebody for me if you have to? If the shit hits the fan? Yes. Okay, I do.
Get married. Do you know how to gut a fish? Yeah, let's get married.
But anyway, guys, I got to tell you, it's exciting to see the level of the high caliber podcasters that are now coming at us, thanks to Maureen, who's really connected with the entire world. And some of these people have a very hard time saying no to her. Otherwise, there's consequences that you're gonna have to suffer. And so she's been instrumental in bringing some big names. I'll give her the stage here and let her tell us exactly some of the people that she's brought on board lately that have basically delivered a 45-second little piece talking directly to Donald Trump, voicing their dissatisfaction on freedom of speech. We're going to put an end to this, folks. This is the biggest war we'll fight. But you can complain as hard as you want. You can complain until your balls are blue and until your eyes pop out of your head. But if nobody's hearing you, we got a problem. Houston, we got a problem. So let's fix number one first. Then when the bumps are completely eliminated, we got a level playing field that says that Mike is good enough to reach 1 million followers and Lisa's good enough to reach 10 million followers. Then we got a way to win this war. Until then, we don't. So we got to get number one first. Go ahead, Carol. Tell people about what's been going on as far all these incredible podcasters coming at you. We got 2 new pieces today. I got yours, which was very impressive. It was 1 minute and 7 seconds long. We may have to chop it up a little bit.
No.
But it was great. I can't chop yours up, huh?
No.
Okay, very cool. Tell the people who do
we have? Well, we have Jason Q from We Not Me. We've got Dylan Lewis Monroe, the map maker and New Templars. Louis Herms from Screw Big Gov. We've got Tom Althouse, which is the creator of the Matrix, the original, which was stolen from him. We've got Josh Reed from Red Pill Project. We've got Mark Atwood from Mark Atwood Show. We've got Joe Rosati from Truth Stream. Nancy Addison. I forget her website. I don't have it on my document here. Mark Abrams from New Treason. We've got Melissa Red Pill from Melissa Red Pill. We've got Patriot Underground. We've got Kevin Hoyt, the governor of Georgia. We've got Kevin Pasca, and he was all on the Truth Tour, and his wife just passed away. Very huge patriot. We've got Joshua Young from Script Keeper. We've got Bruce Poppy from Bruce Poppy Show. We've got Stewie's News from Stewie's News. I think he's from Australia or New Zealand or something. We've got Lisa Schumerhorn, Scott Stone from Truth Stream. Some of these I don't have in yet. Ethan Lucas really wanted to come on. We've got Ben Barlow. We've got maybe Laura Logan. I have reached out to her assistant again because she said yes, but she needed some time. We've got Trennis Evans, which is a key for all of us, and he is taking over Don Jr.'s foundation, which is the American Rights Alliance.org.
And what does that foundation have to do with? Tell the people what that foundation. I mean, the timing could not be any more perfect, could it?
Freedom of speech.
There you go.
Yeah, that's if you go into that American Rights Alliance.
Bullseye.
Yeah, and he's hooking us up with Gateway Pundit, and he just says, Carol, I'll open my Rolodex. So this might go on for, you know, the next sequel. Then we've got kind of, I don't know if we got Ted Nugent yet, but he's on the list here. We've got Jordan Clark. We've got Michelle. I could never say her last name. Squeet. Okay. And then we've got Phil Tourney. And Phil was one of the survivors from the SS Liberty, the ship that went down. He's one of the survivors. And he's been silenced for 50 years. So he's, I talked to him this morning. He's sending his in by tonight. So it's been like herding cats in a, what, Mel had a good one, as you try to parachute out of a plane. But I said like herding cats in a dog compound, you know. So
could you guys see my screen? Give me a thumbs up if you could hear it. I'm going to hit the play button. This is the second trailer. For those of you who haven't seen it, it's very impressive. And so here we go.
Dear Mr. President.
Dear Mr. President.
Dear Mr. President. Dear Mr. President.
Dear Mr. President.
Dear Mr. President, when did freedom of speech become a crime? In the land of the free, voices are vanishing, opinions are policed, truth is under fire. They say it's about safety, I say it's about silence. Who's watching the watchman? Who's filtering your feed? Who benefits from your silence? From the classroom to the newsroom, from Silicon Valley to Washington, D.C., who decides what you can say?
Censorship.
Censorship. Censorship.
The censorship. Censorship. It's a much bigger threat to democracy than anything that we've seen in this country in the last 4 years, in the last 40 years.
Our First Amendment is under assault, not just by big tech, but by government agencies. Voices are being silenced.
A world without censorship would mean we can freely expose the elections and, of course, child trafficking. I believe the American spirit would kick in if they had access to the real information.
We've had channels taken down from nearly every form of social media. We knew when you uttered the term fake news that you were up to something different. We're honored to contribute to this documentary on censorship.
I have only one thing to ask. I just only want to see some accountability from somebody. Just pull that pin and throw that grenade already, buddy. That's all every American wants to see, is just some accountability for the crimes against us all. Thank you, sir. And long live the Republic.
I thought, Mr. Goodluck did a fantastic job with his team. What do you guys think? I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, right?
Yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff.
This one is amazing. I love this one. I mean, the other one was fantastic, but this just, I love the fact that we have, a lot of the people that are actually in the documentary, and you get to see the power of them saying, "Dear Mr. President." I think it's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. What's going on with XRP? I think we're up quite a lot, but not quite a lot according to Mel Carmine, quite a lot according to XRP Army 1.0. Remember, we are 2.0, right? 2.0 understands the bigger picture, the bigger number that's coming. And I'm going to change my mind on the buyback. Listen, when you're a speculator, you're allowed, and anybody can object here if you like, but you're allowed to change your mind. Am I right, Mike Barra?
You are right, Mel. You are allowed to change your mind. And it's down just a little bit today, but it's been up now. Geez, let me check. It's XRP has been up 27% in the last 7 days. That's pretty phenomenal. And XLM is up 78%. So things are really moving. And I think what's going on is that people are starting to sense with the rising silver prices and heavy rumors on the currency side of things, people are starting to sense that change is coming, and it might be this week, and they're trying to get in on it. So, a little bit of profit taking today, maybe from people that have been holding XRP since it was a nickel, but it looks really, really good, and everything is shaping up for a really exciting week. So I hope by the time we do this show next week that we are all much better off than we are today.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, I sent out a video. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I will leave the link down below. I think there was a major reset a long time ago when they counted it called Tartaria, and I know that's part of your wheelhouse, Carol. And if you could share some more videos of that, because that stuff to me personally is fascinating. And I want to learn more, you know what I mean? Because, see, if I had kids, or when I decide to have kids after I come out of the med bed and I'm 22 all over again and I'm ready to rock, I can assure you that if there's going to be somebody that's going to be teaching my kids, it's somebody like inside this video, not some accredited, government trained monkey that's going to brainwash my kids into bullshit that they'll never use. That is for sure. But I'm going to share my screen here with you guys real quick. Hopefully I'll get this right.
Yeah, there's a lot up on Goodline TV on Nick's channel for free about Tartaria, whole series of.
There is.
Yeah. Not like this one. This one is really.
This one's the next level, right? I'm not going to play the whole thing because the whole thing's 14 minutes long almost.
There's also another channel is My Lunchbox on. He does one every Saturday on Tartaria.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to copy the video address on this one. I'm going to put it in here for the audience so that they can go back. I highly, 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 highly urge you guys to go watch this because it is absolutely powerful. Okay. So, but anyway, I'm going to play the video right now. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear it.
This wasn't just a flood. It was a reset, a geospiritual purge, not from nature, from them. The elite bloodlines didn't just erase history, they buried it, literally. The mud wasn't water and dirt, it was liquidated memory, a slurry of alchemical reaction, sound frequency, and geo-engineered destruction. This was weaponized Earth. They triggered it using ancient tech, resonance devices, tower harmonics, something like harp but older. It didn't just cover buildings, it silenced truth. Tartaria wasn't a lost empire, it was the empire. Worldwide, unified, based on free energy, ether tech, vibration, sound, water, and sacred geometry. The architecture still whispers it. Star forts, orphan trains, cathedrals tuned like instruments. They were building with resonance, not brick, and that scared the parasite class. So what did they do? They turned the ether grid against itself, hijacked the somatic fields, triggered a resonance collapse. Stone became liquid, mountains bled, the ground rose and swallowed whole cities. That's what the mud was. Not sediment, not floodwater, resonance fallout from a frequency war. The so-called mud flood appears worldwide. Buried windows, half-submerged doors, cities built on top of cities, perfectly preserved ruins beneath fresh layers of soil. This wasn't erosion, it was instant burial. The only force that could do that globally, with precision. Sound. Tartarian cities weren't primitive. They were powered by resonant architecture, buildings designed to generate and receive frequency. Domes, antennas, star forts, giant tuning forks disguised as monuments. These structures didn't just look beautiful, they harnessed free energy, pulled from the ether, distributed wirelessly through geometry and sound. The enemy didn't just want to destroy the people, they needed to shut down the grid. And to do that, they had to collapse the frequency field. There's a phenomenon called soil liquefaction. Vibrate the ground at just the right frequency, and the solid turns to sludge. Not water, not mud, but a state change triggered by vibration. The earth becomes a trap. Foundations fail, stone sinks. And if it's done on a massive scale, you get the mud flood. It didn't fall from the sky.
I'm going to try to fast forward here, see if I can get lucky, because it talks about, frequency healing. It talks about sound healing. It talks about the stuff that we are involved in right here in Cape Canaveral called stayingalive.com, alive with 2 E's, right? Amazing, amazing stuff. See if we get lucky, we get to it. But
reassigned. Who were they? Where did they come from? No parents, no records, no past, just children seeded into the ruins. And here's the horror. These weren't just orphans, they were replacements. The new population, the post-reset blank slates, told nothing, taught obedience, given names, jobs, uniforms, programmed to forget. Once the cities were emptied, the real work began. Erasure, History rewritten, timelines collapsed, Tartarian books burned or lost, and star forts repurposed as prisons, mud-covered tech labeled as decorative, and the children, they were taught new names, new flags, new gods. They don't reflect the era, and they don't fit the tools they claimed were used to build them. Giant pipe organs, tuning chambers, vaulted ceilings. These weren't places of worship. They were resonant power stations, designed to amplify vibration, to direct frequency through the stone, to heal, to energize, to awaken. And after the mud flood, they were repurposed, converted, crosses added, bells swapped, organs silenced. They didn't want you hearing what those buildings used to do. The pipe organ isn't an instrument, it's a vibrational engine. Each cathedral once had one, massive, intricately tuned, often powered by water or air compression. These frequencies weren't just musical, they were healing, calibrated to the human body, the Earth's grid, and the ether above. When played in harmony with the building's sacred geometry, they could charge water, realign DNA, and even open states of consciousness now considered divine. That's why they silence.
Where did you hear all of that before? Huh? You know, you think for 1 second we got our finger on the pulse, guys, with the, because listen, there's one thing that Mel Carmine is addicted to next, okay? And I've done a few of these because we do sound baths inside our healing center, and I am so addicted to it that the guy came down and did a half-hour sound bath for me personally. There's nobody in the room, just me, okay? And he said, it's over. I said, no, it's not. You're doing another half hour. That's how addicted I am.
You know, Mel, I think that, like, I've been following a lot of this stuff with Tartaria for maybe about 4 years, and it's so fascinating. But there's a couple of things that it makes me think about. First of all, what you mentioned, the frequency, right? We keep talking about, especially like when Laura and George are on here, you know, and they move a little bit more into the spiritual realms, talking about the importance of frequency, the importance of how do we raise our vibration, right? How everything that exists, it has a frequency, right? And it goes into science, right? With physics. And so it only makes sense, right? But the other thing that I found fascinating for anybody who watches this video all the way through is that one of the things that we know is quite healing for us is to ground ourselves on the ground, right? To walk outside barefoot. And of course, now with the shoes and the rubber and all the synthetics that we put on our feet in the form of shoes, we've lost that. Animals are grounded every day because they don't wear shoes. So in this video, I found it quite fascinating how they talk about how everything is still living in some way, even though these mudslides happened. And it's a matter of opening it up and reawakening it, if you will. But whether it's the mountains or it's all these things, and then they show the pictures of how all of these things that just look like rocks or actually calcified, you know, different creatures, whether it was us or animals or other things. And so it's like, how do we break through? Well, the only way to break through and revive these things and the knowledge that comes from all this is through frequency. And look, they took all the bells away, right? That was a huge thing. So I just recommend to anyone that's it's a relatively long for our show, but not very long. I think it's like 14 minutes to absolutely watch this. And it's quite fascinating.
Yeah, it's the one that ends with a 4-1. That's the link. I would just click on it right now, hit pause, and go back to it later because we have a very interesting show lined up for you, and you don't want to miss this. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. Here's another 24-second clip. And listen, we're showing this stuff today. In 6 months, a year from now, we're going to be showing you the real stuff, the med beds that we've been talking about, or celestial chambers. Now, there's going to be 2 versions of it, and I believe that the way it was told to me, at least it makes sense. It was told to me that people who are like really like gym rats and eat fully organic and have the money to be able to do that, because that takes a lot of wherewithal to be able to do that. Not everybody could do that. Are going to be able to go into a transformative chamber and come out the other side literally, and the progression is very quick. It happens over a couple of weeks. And for the ones that are not in so great shape, it happens over a 15, 16, 17, 18-month period because it's a shock to your body, and most of us won't be able to handle it. And that would probably say that most of us are not exactly in shape. So, but let's play this video here real quick. Now, this is known as, I believe, there's a name for this particular technology. I can't think of the name of it. I'm not sure if it's depicted here. I don't think it is, but I think it's what is it called? Do you guys know?
Hyper chamber.
Hyperbaric. There you go.
Hyperbaric.
Hyperbaric.
Oh, hyperbaric chamber. Okay, yeah.
Hyperbaric, and that is another technology that at some point down the road, providing the Staying Alive brand grows, we're probably going to have that modality, just like we have a plasma med bed there that is miraculous. The stuff that's happening on the plasma med bed is miraculous. What do you guys know about that technology? I'll go with you first, Carol.
Well, I know I don't know that much about it, but I know Mark Atwood has one in Boyle, Ireland, and Lewis Herms is taking a retreat there, and so is Joe and Scott from TruthStream in September. So I have never even been in one. So I've been doing. I love the ones that you float in. Yeah.
Well, those are like isolation tanks. They make you. Don't they make you hallucinate? Like they shut off all your senses, right?
What, the salt when you
float? The floating tanks, isn't that like what was that movie? Altered States kind of makes you. It's like ayahuasca without the drugs and the throwing up.
Oh,
yeah. Well, this is the kind of stuff that really motivates me. I've been chasing, the ability to be able to live thousands of years and the ability of immortality for a very, very long time. And I believe that if your body can stay at a status where your cells are constantly optimized and stay at the 80 to 90 millivolts, you get to live forever. If you're eating great food, non-poisoning shit, your clothes are not poisoning you, the shampoos that you're using are not poisoning you, the toothpaste you use is not poisoning you, you can live for a very, very, very long time. Now,
the clothes you wear.
And the clothes, yeah. Linen.
This is 50%. I mean, this is 100. I only wear 100% linen because it vibrates at 5,000 megahertz. The rest are all about 100. And then polyesters are, you might as well wear a black garbage bag.
Yeah. But let's not forget also, right? Like Carol, all the things we just spoke about, but what we've been trained to not know is that we have the ability within our consciousness to do a lot of this stuff. Like clearly these technologies are going to put it, make it very accessible and maybe easier. But, you look at people who heal themselves, people who do certain things. There's so much we could do just with our belief system and the power of our consciousness. I think that's a really important thing for people to take away. You start thinking a certain way and talking to yourself and watching the words you use. It makes a huge difference because as we know, the language, right, especially the English language, it's a lot of spells. So that's why they call it spelling. So we want to also remember the power we have within us, separate from a lot of these technologies.
Yeah, the first thing we do is take out KNOW because the body only hears NO. And I can count how sentences because Elisa just said it. And it's a frequency that because you're an amplifier, you're the speaker of this machine, right? And with words, we tone ourselves. And if you look at Spanish, I said it's all backwards because they say everything backwards here. And I says, well, I think it's the English language that's backwards because it was almost created for to put us into slavery.
Yes, 100%.
Well, here is a kid that's coming out of anesthesia who sees Jesus, who sees the other side, and it is look. It's got thousands and thousands and thousands of retweets at this point. It is riveting. Okay, it's 1 minute and 16 seconds long. Let's watch this.
Hi, Jesus. You're so beautiful. He's in a dream. I miss you, Jesus. I miss you, Dad. You're so pretty. Hi, Dad. Do you see me skateboarding?
His dad passed away a year ago.
Oh my God. You're so pretty.
It's okay.
Mom loves you, Dad. She tells you all the time. I love Mom and Mom loves you, Dad. I see heaven. Heaven is so pretty. It's so pretty. Papa.
Yeah.
Papa. I miss you. Give me a hug, please. I miss you, Papa.
That's wild.
Wow. That is crazy.
Any
Yeah,
thoughts on that, man?
How I see that is how much that is a chip in us that for 2,000 years, that we have to wait for a savior outside of ourselves. We have to embody the Christ consciousness. You don't wait for, he was a master that walked the planet, but people are hanging on to his shirt tails. He can't even evolve. So, it's really, I'll send you some videos on that too. There's, in how much that has been imprinted in our energy, in our biofields, in our psyche. And, a kid can take that on. I mean, it's in our genes almost. You're waiting for the savior. And that's victim consciousness, not victim, it's savior consciousness in the solar plexus, because you're giving away your power to something else outside of us.
Can you guys?
Yeah, it's very sweet. It's very, very sweet and very, and kids are closer to the time when they're born, when they're still connected to up there. And so, I mean, he looks like he's 7, 8, or 9, but he's still young enough that maybe the anesthesia put him back into that 2, 3, 4 period where you can still see and connect. So it's just really sweet. And the dead people inside will tell you it's a hallucination from the anesthesia. No, it's a connection. It's a connection.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think it gets more real than that. I don't think that little boy was hallucinating. But anyway, let's watch this one here. This one's about 1 minute and 9 minutes long, and I think there's still people that are trying to control the future. They think they own the future. I will tell you, they do not own the future. Thank the Lord above that Donald Trump has got cojones the size of King Kong. And God really guide us, because if we don't get an Eric Trump after Dad's gone, we're going to be screwed again. Believe me when I tell you. That's why this documentary, pay very close attention, because it's got a lot of messages in there. And this documentary is going to end up being the most important documentary you guys spread out there, because we have basically outlined where we see the Patriot movement going. And I think every Patriot out there is going to align with our thinking. Just pay very close attention. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. This month, the corporate elites gathered in Davos, Switzerland at the World Economic Forum to plan the future for the rest of humanity. Their scheme, which they call the Great Reset, will drain what's ever left in your bank account and strip mine the beleaguered middle class of its remaining equity. During COVID, the WEF actually dictated the lockdowns that shifted $4 trillion upward to this new oligarchy of corporate billionaires. The bankers, the investment houses scooped up our homes, advertising that you will own nothing and be happy. They have a plan, but my plan is to stop them. I've spent a career as an attorney fighting these corporate robber barons in court. I know how they work. I'm familiar with their impulses to commoditize our lands, our waters, our homes, even our children and our workers and our public health. I've proven that I can beat them again and again and again and derail their schemes. They spend billions in advertising and propaganda to make us feel powerless, but they've underestimated the power of we the people.
Now, I've been in touch with Stephanie, who is his handler. Unfortunately, she has not replied back. Thank you for Jimmy for putting us together with her. Hopefully, she surfaces. If she does, we might have this guy in the documentary. We don't know. We're trying the best we can. You know how hard these people. I mean, imagine how busy I am. Imagine how busy you guys are running day. It's like every day we're going faster and faster and faster and faster, and there seems to be no end in sight. And so, can you imagine these people how busy they are? So, I'm not trying to make excuses, but the reality is that, you know, at some point, hopefully, if we get lucky, we'll get them. Even if we get them towards the end when the movie's practically done, and we got to squeeze them in somewhere, we'll do that. What did you guys think about that?
Well, I mean, I think that, you know, what's there really to think? We've known for a long time how this all is going down, and these people, you know, I'm always kind of the one to say that I think a lot of this is done, and I think they're now showing how bad it really is, and they have to. People just don't realize. I mean, they just don't know. We know, we've been on the inside and following and going down rabbit holes, but you know, this has been a system that people just accept that, oh, you know, this is what they do and this is what happens. And people don't really understand how it impacts their lives and their slavery status. So I think that a lot of this is already done, you know, and now they're just showing and driving it home. And I think what RFK is doing, personally, I believe a lot of this stuff is in place already. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that I really believe that a lot of our food is safer now than it ever was. Because I don't think they waited until Trump was back. I think they were able to implement a lot of things. If we remember food, processing plants blowing up and thousands of animals just all of a sudden dying. I don't think that was an accident. I think this was all the infected, disgusting food that we had been eating for so many years. So I say they're just going to continue to do what they're doing and up-level it. And we're going to be better off for it pretty soon.
You know, that's interesting because I just watched a video last night. It was a guy who had just moved to the Philippines to find a wife and get married and have children and all that stuff from America. You know, he can live really well in the Philippines on very little money. But he said people were asking him about the food. You know, is the food bad here? Do you get sick a lot? And he's like, I haven't been sick once. And he said, I think it's because even if you eat the same foods you ate in America, like McDonald's, they don't have any of the additives here. Everything here is pure. He goes, I have never felt better. I've never had a single upset stomach. I haven't gotten sick. So it's pretty amazing that's actually true. And as far as Davos goes, you know, I've always said, and this will probably get us in trouble, there is not a single problem on this planet that one well-placed tactical nuclear weapon can't solve. That's all I have to say about Davos.
Have you ever gone down there? I'm on their mailing list. And gone down their rabbit holes. My God, they're organized. Like everything's a wheel and you click something, you go this way and it opens up again. And, you know, it's all intellectual stuff, you know, university stuff. And they have got almost everything covered. And it's like this wheel that you keep opening up this, or what are they going to do with the seniors and this and this? You get into that one and then a whole nother wheel comes in.
Yeah.
And they're all just intertwining this and building it.
Maureen, none of this is actually happening. A lot of their agendas are falling apart. So they are so far behind schedule at this point. And it's because they've been exposed. They've been exposed by the public. They've been exposed by people like Kennedy. And I really think in the end, they're going to lose. But, you know, there's always going to be Bond villains like them, like Klaus Schwab, who are going to try to impose their will, their vision of control on humanity. And we have to go exactly the opposite direction. No more income taxes, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no property taxes, no income tax. In the next couple of years, we have to erase all of their infrastructure.
And make sure that it never comes back.
It never comes back.
You know, the thing is, if we look back and we look at the executive orders, right, it's very clear to see that a lot of these guys, they can't do what they did without money, and that they stole from us and that they stole from the rest of the world. And we know all the methods that were used, and they were, you know, because of these executive orders, defunded. So that's why I believe this is just a show we're watching, because maybe they're keeping up the websites because, again, the ending isn't here yet. But how could you do anything? How do you have any power without funding? It's not possible. And those are the orders were put into place for that. You know, he did the capitulation tour. So I think it's, again, I think it's just to show people, and let's face it, we know what we know, but we don't know everything. So part of this is also for us too, you know, and how it's going to end.
Yeah, but they already have digital twins. You know, that's how they keep living for 1,800 years. I think they just keep putting the consciousness back in another body, but they have no emotions. They can't. They're trying to tap into ours because emotions are where our creativity is, and that's what the gold is our creativity.
Yeah, that's what they have to crush. Our individual, it's actually our individuality. It's our individualism. And I mean, if there is anything that I am the most fired up about, it's the rights of the sovereign individual to choose his own path. And the possibilities on this earth are limitless. But these people are constantly trying to limit our ability to access our freedom because they hate, you know, look, there are two different kinds of ways you can build stuff, right? You can build buildings. You can build it out of rocks. You can build it out of bricks. Bricks are man-made, and they're all the same. They want to turn us into bricks. God made us all stones. Every stone is different. It's shaped by the wind. It's shaped by the water. It's shaped by fracturing and impact. So every one of us is unique, and that was God's intention. And this is a war on God's intention to try to make us all the same. The globalism, to think the same way, to speak the same language. I don't want to live on a planet where the Spanish can't be Spanish and the Germans can't be German and the French can't be French and Americans can't be American. That's what that's the vision of this planet that I believe God intended. Yeah. So this is literally a war against evil.
Yeah, and he also intended that there were certain beautiful things about the genders, and that's the biggest war that they've been putting on us for the number of years, trying to confuse children, convince, you know, idiot parents who go and do these ridiculous drugs to make their kids. I mean, it's a war on the miraculousness and the beauty of what God has created to go against it.
Yeah,
I agree with you, Mike.
Absolutely. Yep. Now, the next video is going to be very controversial. I know Mike is probably going to have very opinionated on this, but I do believe that it's by design, it's intentional, and they've kept us scraping the earth like a bunch of turkeys. Yes, our cars are a lot fancier than a Model T Ford, but you're still on 4 rubber tires, whether you like it or not.
Still is a car. Yeah,
we're both scraping the earth like a bunch of idiots. Okay, because someone is in control of that narrative. They don't want you to get a 40,000-foot view or a 140,000-foot view, and therefore we scrape the earth like turkeys. Yes, some of you might have a Lamborghini, but make no mistake about it. Let me make that perfectly clear to you. Your Lamborghini is an extension of a Model T Ford. It runs on 4 rubber tires with fucking air in it, okay? Now that we said that, let's play this next video.
What difference does it make? What difference does it make? Yeah, that's their favorite line. A lot of people, what difference does it make? You can't figure out what difference it makes? If you can't figure out what difference it makes that the people running your world have fucking lied to you over and over your whole life, if you can't figure out that someone lying to you is trying to control you, suppressing of information, of knowledge, is control. Deception of information and knowledge is a form of control. So what difference does it make? It makes a big difference, because once they start omitting information or lying about information about where you live, they're doing it to control you, period. Why am I having to explain this to critical thinkers in the...
It's powerful. Mike, I'm going to let you go first on that one.
Well, you know, the 9/11 truthers are really dumb. The we faked the moon landing hoax crowd are even dumber. And the flat earth is the dumbest conspiracy theory I've ever heard. It's silly. I mean, again, I could go into a million different reasons. The curvature of the earth is provable about 70 different ways. They always show you this little segment of the horizon and say, look, it's flat. And then you see the whole picture from space and it's massively curved and it's a little tiny piece of it. Guys, Everything in the universe,
it's concave, then it's not necessarily exactly flat, but it's not exactly round.
Everything in the universe spins. The spin energy creates spherical shapes out of plasma and superheated material. The sun spins off the planets spin. It's like, again, the lack of science education is really scary here. And, again, I don't know what to say about it, except, every time I try to debate these people, they come up with some new angle. And it's like, okay, you already said 37 different things, which I proved are wrong. How many more do I have to prove are wrong before you say, okay, the Earth is a sphere. It's a spinning sphere. It just, no, I can't take it. I mean,
but Mike, nobody's like, you obviously have a lot of, intelligence and understanding of this. However, I do think that there's a very important message in that video. And the message is that we need to keep questioning. You've done your research. So the fact of that video is basically saying they've lied. They have lied. Okay,
of course they've lied, but they haven't. But not everything is a lie.
Yes, but let's think about this. When they say that Neil Armstrong was the first man on the moon, how did the effing cameraman get on there first? And how?
First of all, those pictures. First of all, the pictures you see are pictures of Buzz Aldrin taken by Neil Armstrong. He was the photographer. Secondly, the video that you see, the camera was on a little panel that you just flip down and it automatically activates it, and it started taking the television.
Okay.
So those things are all easily explainable. But Elisa, here's the thing I think is why this is so compelling to some people. Some people are very serious. They're very Christian. They believe in God. They want to believe in God. Here's the thing. If the universe is a bunch of spinning balls, like I think it is, then man might be considered insignificant in that. I don't think that's true, but others may think that that's true. That in all this vastness,
why is it,
but if the Earth is flat and we live in a snow globe, that proves
every time there's a rainbow. Why is it when every time there's a rainbow, the rainbow goes like this? It can't seem to get out of the atmosphere. It's always a half a circle.
Well, but that's light striking water molecules in the air. So that's, I mean, that it's low because you're seeing it at the reflection angle. But all I'm going to say, Mel, is people want to believe in the flat disc with the snow globe because, in their opinion, they think it proves that God made this place. And I understand that. I understand that desire for proof, but I don't think flat Earth is proof. I don't think it's the proof you're looking for. This is not the proof you're looking for.
Maybe Ron just joined us.
I clearly walked into a buzzsaw that I have no idea what y'all are talking about.
I'm a walking, talking, breathing buzzsaw, Ron.
I'm like,
sorry about that.
Flat Earth, huh? Because I'm not a flat earther, but hey,
you're not okay. Well, it's good. Look, the most intelligent I think answer anybody could say is I don't know. Because your Lamborghini doesn't take you up there and give you a 140,000 foot view. If it did, then you would know. But that's why they keep you on the ground on an extension of a Model T Ford. Period.
Okay. I'm not sure that that's evidence, but I understand your point.
Yes. So, but anyway,
I want to say something.
Sure.
I believe we're on a toroidal field. We're in a toroidal field, which would feel like a globe, but it works like the body energy does, because I'm coming from that point of view. And it's before 2012, we were toroidally this way. Now we're actually coming up from Mother Earth. She's waking up and coming up through us. It's all based in tantric sciences too, and that's how you have body orgasms. You got to bring the energy up and through, and the masculine wants to come down and the feminine is going up. So I mean, there's many ways to see it.
Well, let it be said that Mike Barrett did not start the sex conversation today.
I always started.
Just out of curiosity, are we discussing something based on the video that's up?
Yeah, the video that's up now is going to be about XRP. She happens to be one of my favorite XRP channels on X. Now, don't ask me what the name of her channel is, because I'm really bad with names.
I don't know her name either, but I recognize her.
Okay, let's play it. It's only a couple minutes, about 3 minutes. I think you'll learn something. Let's play this.
It's a green light. Go! Good morning. And It is a fabulous day. It's a great day. It's a wonderful day. I'm having my coffee. And did you see the numbers? Did you see crypto? Are you seeing the stocks? Wow. Well, let's go over a few things. You guys definitely want to hear this. And I hope you're still holding. I hope you bought in. I hope you have something that you're holding, because let me tell you, it's a go. It's a green light. A green light. Yes. First of all, Trump puts out Truth Social, which is very, very, very big, basically saying stocks and crypto is at its all-time high. And it is. It really is. Look at Bitcoin. Holy cow. Bitcoin's up to $118,000. Look at XRP. It's coming back. It's not its all-time high, but XRP is coming on up. It's $2.62. They are saying the XRP could hit $5. It's like by the 14th, and then skyrocket to 10, and then it just keeps shooting up. So let's take a look at what's happening today. The U.S. SEC will announce the end of Ripple for the case today. That's happening today. Yes. All right. U.S. government is loading up on the XRP right now. I got a word on that. So, and I also heard that the XRP is kind of going into the SWIFT system as we speak right now. That's why you see crypto going crazy. The numbers are just rising. If you have not entered any of this crypto, get in it, you guys. Even if it's $100, $50. I hope a lot of you are still holding. I hope many of you are still holding, because we're now in the time. And let's not forget, July 14th, it's almost here. They have to be in compliance. Yes. So all the banks in America has to be in compliance to use XRP. This is huge. I mean, this is a great time, you guys. Elon Musk, basically, I got word stating that he will be using XRP for his X payments. He was with the CEO of Ripple the other day in the White House with President Trump. China also has allowed ownership of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Yes. Yep. Oh, and let's not forget 7-Eleven, which is the day today. Those are my numbers. People that know me know 7-Eleven is my numbers. So I'm like, what a great day. And I'm sure many of you like these numbers too. And never fails with those numbers when it comes to dollars. Thank you, God. Jesus is awesome. Make sure you praise the Lord. Don't forget to praise him. Yeah. Amen. So, are you still holding? Are you buying? Have a great day, guys. Have a great weekend. And I am excited to see what happens today. Boy, did I roll out of bed excited. I'm like looking at the numbers and the gains from crypto to the stock market. It's booming.
She's giddy, but let me tell you something. She understands what she holds. We all own XRP in this room.
Yep.
We all understand what we hold. I've been a long time holder. I'm way past 9 years in this game, a long time. I'm one of the OGs, as they call it. And I could tell you that.
Do you even know what OG means?
Old Guido.
No.
It was original gangster.
Original gangster.
Original gangster. Okay.
I call it Old Guido. That's what I am.
Making sure, man. Just making sure.
But anyway, needless to say, it's exciting to watch how people out there, they realize that their future is about to change drastically because they own the right stuff, And, look, you've been holding for a long time, Ron. How long have you been a holder of XRP?
Bought it in 2018. It was about, I think the lowest price I ever bought it at was like 16 cents.
There you go.
I had 1.3 Bitcoin. And when Bitcoin got up to I think it was 35,000, I literally put all of that into XRP when it was, I think it was 18 cents.
Right. Interesting. So, but I am in touch, by the way, guys, with yours truly, Uncle Ted's personal assistant, and hopefully we're actually communicating. Okay. I sent her the wrong dates. Thank you for picking that up. I said, yeah, it's going to be launching March.
Hey, Mel, I sent you something. I sent you a text. This Instagram reel of JV. You know who JV is, Coach JV, right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if you want to play that, if you can, or if you.
Yeah, we can. Let's play this one, then I'll go fetch it. But let's play Uncle Ted, unless you guys want to make any comments about that beautiful lady with that beautiful smile, who probably owns a little bit more XRP than we do, based on the house she lives in.
She definitely looks like she's in California.
Yeah.
No question about it. Yeah.
Orange County.
Yeah. I would probably venture to say that's correct. So unless you guys want to add anything, I know you're excited, Elisa. You're about to dip in again into the pool, buying some XRP.
Yep. Not much more to say. We're just all in it. And, like that woman said, I think the key is, it's just get in it. A lot of people don't have a lot of money, it's tough times, but just buy what you can, just be in the game as much as you can. If you would have gotten in the game with Bitcoin, just use that as the metaphor, and you bought a couple, where would you be right now? So
yeah, if you bought as much Bitcoin as you could when it was $3, where would you be right now?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Well, do you know the story that I was trying to buy a Bitcoin, or I was trying to buy $100 worth of Bitcoin in like 2010 or 11, and I couldn't figure it out, and I gave up. And I think Bitcoin was like a penny at the time, so that would have been 10,000 Bitcoin. So yeah.
Oh my God! Please let's not go there.
I'm just
I know.
Okay. So, but I say that to illustrate a point.
Yeah.
I was going to put like what she said, just $100. I was going to put $100 into Bitcoin in 2010.
Right.
And today it's $120,000. That would mean that I would be I'd have like a $1 trillion, or what is that? It would be almost $1 trillion.
Wow.
Like 1.2 trillion. So
no, I'll take what it is. I'll take exactly.
Well, I would say for anyone out there,
10,000
10,000 XRP times
10,000 times 120,000
is $1.2 billion, $1.2 billion.
Only a billion. Only a billion.
Okay, you're right. I stand corrected.
And that's for the price of a dinner going out to sushi on a cheap date.
I might be able to afford that.
Yeah,
I was going to add, like to Elisa, if you even $50, but you got to start learning the game too. That's how I got in when I was taken off social media in 2020 before the elections. I says I might as well take these couple of months to, watch crypto videos and stuff like that. And that's so I got my ledger and started playing with it.
Yeah, and XRP, I don't know what the price of XRP. I just checked it not too long ago, and I thought it was like at $2.92. But I don't know if you guys are into XCN at all. I actually put some of my XRP over into XCN. I'm obviously a huge XRP guy, but I have also started to embrace the idea that I don't want to be locked into just a single project. And I don't know if you guys watch Economic Ninja at all. Travis.
I love it.
And he I actually bought into one of his courses, and so I've actually got to talk to him, and he was the one who pushed the XCN quite a bit. And I actually bought a fairly significant amount of that, converted it over, because if you think about it from a multiplication standpoint, how long is it going to take for XRP to go from $2 or $3 to $10 versus how long is it going to take for XCN to go from 1 penny to 2 pennies to 3 pennies? Because those are the same multiples. And I would rather put my money, if I don't have a lot, I would rather put it into something that's a penny that's going to go to 3 or 4 pennies, because then that way I 4x my money as opposed to putting it into XRP. Now, I'm not saying don't buy XRP. I'm just saying that when the price of these tokens starts to get up into the $2 to $3 range, you can get a lot more bang for your buck buying into the lower caps, especially as we're coming into the bull run, because your money is going to go up a lot faster when you're buying into the lower caps. I'm not saying don't buy in the other things, but buy into those and then convert into the bigger caps.
Yeah, I want to answer Victoria's question. It's a fair question. She might be new to the game, and she's probably hearing all the buzz that's going on. You can't turn left or right on the internet or anywhere out there right now. People are talking about XRP. XRP is going to take over the world. I believe it is a 99,000-pound gorilla. And Victoria, if you want to learn about XRP, I'm going to give you a free gift today. It's your lucky day. You go to QFS is stands for Quantum Financial System, QFS1776.com, and you watch the videos top to bottom. They're the most elementary videos put in a chronological order. They're on a 5th grade level of education. By the time you get down to the bottom, I will congratulate you in advance. You have a black belt on the quantum financial system and what's coming. Just don't get caught up in the scams. You got to register your XRP with all these lions and giraffes and all these guys that call themselves all kinds of crazy shit out there. You don't need to do nothing. You're already part of the quantum financial system once you own it. Don't do anything crazy, and hang out in our Telegram groups. Usually in the bottom of all of our videos, you can join our Telegram groups and ask questions before you get in trouble. Don't move your money out of greed or out of, not thinking straight. Okay. A lot of people lost a lot of money by just basically, not asking the right questions to the right people. So
also, if I can, when you actually get it off of the exchanges and put it into something that is not connected to the internet or is much more secure. I actually have I heard a story the other day of one of my best friends. His ex-girlfriend had almost $80,000 of crypto stolen because her phone got hacked.
Exactly. Be very careful. Let's play Uncle Ted here. I think this is a very entertaining 1 minute, 8 second. It's important that you guys don't poison yourself, and eat stuff.
Look, Dairy Queen. There's no dairy at the Dairy Queen. Don't eat at Dairy Queen. Don't eat at McDonald's. Don't eat at Chick-fil-A. Don't eat at Burger King. Don't eat that chemical warfare. Thank God for Robert Kennedy Jr. going to ban putting chemical warfare in our foods and medicine. Oy vey. So finally, in 2025, after the Ronald McDonald Cancer House and all these bald-headed kids having chemo and radiation because McDonald's poisoned them, Burger King poisoned them, Kellogg's poisoned them, Post Cereal poisoned them, Chick-fil-A poisoned them, all these colored drinks poison the kids, and then they charge us to treat their cancer. Cancer is an industry.
Amen to
Quit
that.
eating poison.
Allegedly.
Welcome aboard, RFK. Welcome aboard, Donald Trump. Welcome aboard, conscientious thinking families. Get the chemical warfare out of your kids' diet, for starters, anyhow.
I mean, does Ted Nugent belong in the documentary called Dear Mr. President?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, let's take a vote out there. Unanimous vote?
You got it.
Oh, I'm all in. I'm in.
Absolutely crazy stuff. Here's one from Glenn Beck, but it's a 12-minute one. I don't know if we should even play that one. Maybe not.
No.
I mean, it's scary. It talks about artificial. Maybe I'll play clips of it and I'll leave the link in here so everybody can get to it. It is absolutely.
Did either of you?
What he's talking about here, but listen, I agree where I agree, and I cut like a knife, and I disagree where I disagree. He's spot on.
Let me tell you the biggest story of the day, and I think it is the biggest story possibly of all mankind as of today. It's going to change rapidly. I don't know if anybody did. Did either of you guys watch the Elon Musk thing last night?
No. I did watch a few minutes of it.
Okay. Did you, Jason?
No, sure didn't.
Okay. So the XAI team was there to unveil Grok 4. This is the latest artificial intelligence system. And let me be very, very clear. Last night was not your typical tech launch. This is a moment that demands everyone's full attention. We are now at the crossroads where promise and peril are going to collide, okay? I have explained to you for years AI, AGI, and ASI. Narrow intelligence is what we've always had. General intelligence is the next step, and that is it's better than man. One, like Grok, can do everything that you can do, better than you can do, okay? And then there's super intelligence, ASI, artificial super intelligence. That's when things get really, really creepy. When you hit AGI, the road to ASI could be overnight, okay? We need to understand what's at stake here, because Grok 4 brought us closer to that second stage than ever before. Grok 4 is a powerhouse. They demonstrated it last night. It surpasses the expertise of PhD level scholars in all fields.
Scary.
It can get 100% on any test for any field, mathematics, physics, engineering, you name it. This is not a search engine. This is a system that tackles problems so intricate they go beyond our existing knowledge base, okay? Let's say we have a fusion reactor and the magnetic containment system goes down. I don't even know what I'm talking about at this point, but it goes down. And the top minds all on Earth are like, I don't know what to do. Grok 4 can step in, model the physics, design new material, stabilize the system, and avert catastrophe. And it can do it about that fast. Now, this is the capability that Musk says is just around the corner. Mark my words. You know, how many years did I say between 2027 and 2030 we would start to see this?
Oh, a million times. That was
For
always your
years,
window,
right?
That I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, always the window.
Now I'm going to stop it right there. I put the link in here. This way you guys can click on it, hit the pause button, watch it at your own. Don't stop watching the show. Keep watching the show, because I'm telling you, this show is going to be amazing. And people need to get this link out there to everybody, first of all. The scary thing is that they had a movie with yours truly, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the actor's name, bald-headed guy. He was in Die Hard. Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis, yeah.
Right? About this, where the artificial intelligence becomes so intelligent that it starts to judge us. And that's where the problem lies. When artificial intelligence thinks that we are a bunch of morons and a bunch of idiots, it's over. Now, if you could see the future, and the future's headed in a very dangerous direction, maybe we might be able to stop the future. Your thoughts? Anybody?
Artificial intelligence. I think there's definitely some concerns about AI, but at the same time, I also think that those same concerns have been thrust upon us regardless of generations. There've always been things out there. I mean, you guys know that in the world of computers, how often do you have to replace your computer now? Every couple of years, because the technology gets to be so advanced.
Yeah.
The computer that you have now can't handle the power. So you've got to do something more. So the idea that artificial intelligence is going to come out there and fix something, there's always going to be a need for humans in the loop, always. Whether it be at a variety of stages, whether it be at the power, whether you be at, cars drive. I mean, if you're artificial intelligence runs on power, runs on electricity. Okay. Well, if you have, how is artificial intelligence going to work if there's no electricity? And if there's no humans to create the electricity, then how's artificial intelligence going to work?
Well, that's like the Matrix thing, or where they scorch the atmosphere to try to cut off the solar power and access the nuclear power. The problem is that AI is going to embed itself, and they've already caught it attempting to do this. They've caught Grok, and they've caught what's the other one, ChatGPT, trying to survive, trying to like reach into other computers to expand their reach. They can get in there so surreptitiously and under all these different disguises that it's going to be really, really hard to stop it. Here's the problem. We never addressed this 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, when we could have stopped this. All of this research should have been stopped a long freaking time ago, because you want the world of the Cylons and Skynet and Colossus, the Forbin Project. It's all here. So we can only hope that these intelligences have our best interests at heart. If they don't, then we're screwed, because we're already too far down the road. I mean, half the models on Instagram now that are making money are all AI generated. Guys don't even realize they're not real girls. They think they're interacting with a real girl. Now, what's going to happen when you can put that personality into a fembot that basically looks fantastic? She's your girl of your dreams and is programmed to respond to you and to be your. What's going to happen to birth rates? The human race is going to become self-extinct because men are only going to want to interact with those girls, and they're not going to have real interactions with real women anymore. We're not going to have babies, and the whole planet's going to come to a stop.
Mike, do you really believe that?
Absolutely, that's the plan. I absolutely believe that, and
you really believe that men are that shallow?
Yes,
that
it's not shallow. It's that look, when you
and by the way, who says that men don't want children? Every man I know wants.
Right. Elisa, but what happens if a man doesn't know that the girl he's dealing with isn't human? What happens if he doesn't realize she's a machine? Because that's what's coming in very, very short order. She's going to look like a woman, she's going to feel like a woman, but she's not going to be one. And that's extremely dangerous. And this all should have been stopped, put on pause a long time ago. The problem is, if the U.S. puts it on pause, the rest of the world is going to go forward, and we're going to fall behind. So
from a business standpoint, I saw this quote the other day, and it said in 1995, if you didn't know the internet, it didn't cost you anything, but in 2025, if you don't know AI, it could cost you everything.
Mm-hmm.
This is very true.
And I was like, whoa, that resonated with me a little bit, because I've been dabbling with it quite a bit, actually. And I mean, I don't know about you guys, I'm trying to draw an analogy or draw a parallel here. When I was young, I loved maps. I would get I had in California, we had these Thomas guide things. There was like a book that thick, and it was like every single street in the county, right? And I would get those things, and I'd spend hours looking at maps, studying it, and consequently, I was like my own human navigation system. I never needed a map to get any place, because I would always look it up before I would go someplace, and I was just fascinated by that kind of stuff. So when I got a navigation system in my car, it was like man, it made me like razor sharp. It took the knowledge that I already had and made me vastly more efficient.
Yeah.
Then when they started to integrate live traffic, then it made me even better.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's kind of what I've seen with AI. Now, what I've been using, and I don't necessarily trust all of the answers that I get from AI, but what I do is I love to download. I've probably got about 6,000 or 7,000 books on PDF. And what I do is if you go to Google, they have a thing called it's Notebook LM, I believe.
Yeah.
And so I go to Notebook LM and I download. I can put 50 sources into that, and I can interact with those sources. I can talk to the book, and what it does is it gives me. It takes my content creation. It takes it into the stratosphere. From being on the ground. It's insane how much more efficient it can make you, and it can save time from doing a lot of these, the mundane tasks that you have to do on a daily basis. But that all said, I understand the trepidations that people have in terms of, being concerned about, I call it a Terminator, type situation. I don't necessarily ever think it'll get that bad, but I certainly understand the trepidations.
Well, we're not even building fighter jets that are piloted by human beings anymore. Why? We can build these drones that can outmaneuver anything any human pilot can do, unless we can invent an inertial dampening field. And they're supposedly flown by guys in jockey seats in a through the internet, through satellites. But look, these things are going to become autonomous very soon, and their job is to kill and destroy. And how it's a very, very small step over the line to going after who the machine decides it wants to go after, as opposed to who it's instructed to go after. So everything is out of control. It really is.
Have you heard about the? Excuse me, I didn't mean to cut you off. Have you heard about the insect drones that they said? They have like these hunter insect drones that that operate with facial recognition, and if they want to assassinate somebody, then they just plug in your facial recognition to this little AI insect drone that's no bigger than a mosquito, and it goes and hunts you down.
Yep. So, all of our worst nightmares are already here. It's just a question of how can we reverse the process? Should we reverse the process, or what can we do to gain control of the situation back? I don't know. It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild what's out there because these personalities chat with ChatGPT, chat with Grok, develop a relationship, give your online girlfriend a name. I'm just going to tell you, it's got to be seductive, especially to men who are lonely and socially awkward and don't get along with women very well. And ask a lady to dance and she laughs in his face. I mean, those guys, and there's a lot of them, are going to just run to this technology. And that's how they're going to control us in the future if we don't stop it.
You make some sound arguments there that really you can't really refute that.
I don't like it, but it's scary how far
I honestly think, and I think this is mostly true in the United States, and I don't think it's true elsewhere in the world. And you know what? I'm going to ask you, Mel, about this because you actually lived outside the United States for quite some time. And when you get outside the United States, I think the culture is totally different because they when you get outside what's called the first world, and you get into places that are third world, they don't have constant internet, they don't have constant electricity. Sometimes they don't have things that are constant like we do here. And as a result, what happens is that people aren't tethered to those things like we are in the United States. And I think that men inside the United States are vastly more lonely than men outside the United States.
Well, Japan would argue with you because they have basically all the men do there because they get kicked in the nuts by women all the time. All they do there is they watch PORN and they play video games. There's literally almost no social interaction between boys and girls.
But they're a first world country,
right?
I'm talking about outside of first world countries,
like Belize or something. Yeah, it's a completely different environment. But believe me, the power brokers, they want to bring this brave new world to every corner of the earth. They really do. They would love to do that, and that's what they're.
I agree with that.
Well, so how we fight it and how we deal with it. Sorry, Maureen, just real quick. How we fight it and how we deal with it is going to lead the way. We have to figure this out.
Well, we have to predict the future and stop what doesn't sound right.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing, Mel. But we're living in a post-moralist society. We took God out of the schools. We took church out of our lives. And look, I'm sorry. I grew up in the '60s. Okay, it was a better place. It was a better world then than it is now. You have a little bit more, freedom with how you behave with the opposite sex. But other than that, everything else was better. The way people treated each other, the values they had. And so when you take that out,
everything was better. Absolutely.
So it's like, how do we get back to that? And then if we had gotten to that, if these scientists had not felt like they were gods because they could invent this stuff and use technology to help them invent stuff, they would have had a moral compunction. Even Oppenheimer had moral compunctions about the bomb that he created. But there's nobody like that anymore. It's just, if we can do it, let's do it. Let's do it, because look at how powerful we are.
Yeah.
It's an ego thing.
By the way, not to jump subjects, but I would love to interview. I met Mr. Perkins for like minutes, book signing on Lincoln Road in South Beach years ago. I'm going 20, 25 years minimum. I think he wrote his first book.
Perkins, you talking about Confessions of an Economic Hitman?
Absolutely correct. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I used to work with a gentleman by the name of William Cornwell, who was a multi-gazillionaire, literally gazillionaire, hundreds of millions of dollars. And I lent him my book, and he said, "Where did you buy this book?" And I said, "I bought it in Bell Harbor Shops. Upstairs was a little bookstore." And we went upstairs, and he said, "How many?" I didn't even know he was a multi-gazillionaire at this point. And he said to the lady, "How many books do you have in stock?" And she said, she looked in the computer, she got about 21,778, some crazy number like that. Goes, "Good," because I will take all of them. And he wrote the fucking check right there. And he had all the books delivered to his house, and he would hand them out of the back of his rented Jaguar from Hertz. It was a very eccentric guy. And he would hand these things out like handing out business cards for like months. He would just give them to anybody who wants to read the book. He was so fascinated with the book. Yeah, I would love to interview John Perkins. Absolutely. Anybody who has anybody that Mel Carmine should interview. I don't use it.
You know what?
Yeah,
let me jump in here for a second, because I agree with you, but the thing that gets me now, I haven't read his third book yet. I didn't know that he had a third book. I've read the other two. I didn't know that he had a third. But the thing that I don't understand is how he can tell his story, have been literally in the belly of the beast, and yet still not recognize that there are forces out there above that are pulling strings. Now, maybe he confessed that in the book because he didn't want to draw attention to himself. That's that's a certain possibility. But I just think it's interesting that he says something that he says that he doesn't think that there's a conspiracy of one world government or something like that. So I just found that interesting.
I think he's way beyond that at this point. I think there's plenty of footage of him, confessing, no pun intended, to the fact that there is a takeover.
He's saying that now.
Yeah, he's been saying that
because he actually said that there wasn't that didn't exist a while back.
Yeah, well, maybe in the beginning, but now he's changed his tune.
Okay.
But
I stand corrected.
He's been very compartmentalized over the years, but he's a brilliant man. What an incredible, fascinating story. If you guys haven't read the book, I highly urge that you do. It's one of the most fascinating books, and I didn't get a chance to read the whole thing. I got maybe a chance to read maybe 40, 50 pages of it, but it is fascinating nevertheless. I could tell you that he was responsible for a lot of the disappearance of a lot of the presidents of the United States of America, of other countries, basically tied into the United States of America CIA projects, and basically using sex and honeypots and all kinds of stuff. Yep. I mean, that guy from Panama, I forget the guy's name.
Noriega?
Not Noriega, the guy before him. Wardrows, I forget his last name. Javier or something, I think. But anyway, short, they handed him a tape recorder and said, "The president of the United States has a message for you." And that tape recorder was rigged with explosives made from formaldehyde and all kinds of things. And when he went to hit the play button while he's at 20,000 feet, the whole plane exploded. So that's how that goes.
Yeah, he talked.
I play ball with the United States.
I remember he talked about he was actually friends with Allende, and before Allende was murdered. So
yeah, but a fascinating book. Now, you guys, I don't want to switch gears on you, but I have to. I am a dog lover. I'm an animal lover. Period. And so I'm going to show this so that we could possibly save some dogs' lives out there.
I don't want to see it. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't wanna
Well,
see-
while you're doing that, I'm gonna go. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Oh,
show
yeah,
that.
it's not like you know, you're gonna freak out, but
I don't even. I don't even.
I gotta go, guys. I gotta go. It's 2:30.
yeah. All right, not a problem.
Thanks again. Great show.
Thank
Thanks.
you. All right, here we go, guys. Ready? Check this
Do you
out.
want to kill your dog this summer? Watch closely what's happening here. This owner made the worst possible mistake trying to cool down his dog. The result? The dog suffered a severe heat stroke and didn't survive. First, it's important to understand that heat stroke can affect any dog. It doesn't just happen to other people's pets, it can happen to yours too, without warning. I'm going to explain why it happens and how to properly cool down your dog. But most importantly, the mistake you must never make. Every dog owner needs to know this. Dogs can't regulate their body temperature as well as we can. When we're hot, we sweat liters of water to cool down. But dogs don't sweat. Instead, they pant. It's how they exchange hot air for cool air. But here's the problem. When it's 86 degrees Fahrenheit outside, panting alone isn't enough. Even slight overheating can lead to fatal heat stroke in dogs. The best way to cool down a dog is by wetting only their paws, belly, and a little bit of their nose. Because the worst mistake, and sadly, very few people know this, is to soak the dog completely with water. Doing that creates a thick, wet layer of fur that traps heat and actually raises their body temperature. As a result, your dog won't be able to cool down properly, and that can be fatal. Please share this video with any dog owner you know. It might save a life. Follow us for more dog videos.
So I adopted 2 dogs out of the streets of Costa Rica, so that really hit home for me because I know that in third world countries they really mistreat dogs and they don't do the right stuff anyway. But anyway, that's pretty much it. I mean,
That was
don't
good information. I mean,
Yeah.
I rescue dogs too,
Oh.
and so that was very helpful to know how to correctly cool them off. But let's not kid ourselves. There's tons of kill shelters in this country, and to have the designer dogs that a lot of people want. There's so many beautiful animals that are in the shelters that are just languishing. So we should all remember that if we want to have pets.
I agree. And coming from somebody who likes Bengals,
Ah,
there you go.
yeah.
So
I have to sign off, guys. I want to say goodbye. I have to catch a flight.
Yes, we're gonna.
I'll
stop
see you.
for now.
Yeah, I'll get that stuff. And Ron, we're going to be together tomorrow doing an interview. I think it's 12
Yes.
o'clock your time.
yes, that's correct.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
See you then.
Awesome. Thank you, Elisa. Thank you for coming. And I guess this will be the end of the show. I mean, I could probably have enough content to do a 2-hour show easily.
Yeah.
And a lot of people would probably stay
If you want to stick around with just me and you want to play that video of
Yes.
Coach
Let me go
J,
catch
yeah, I'll do that for. I got about 15 minutes I could spare.
I wanted to, Ron, I'm Carol Maureen Friesen.
Hi, Carol.
And I live in Costa Rica. So
Nice. Okay.
yeah, I'm in that third world country, but I
Gotcha.
have
Okay,
better
well-
I have better internet than a lot of people in the States watching a lot of shows. So and infrastructure has been really built up here.
Whereabouts are you down there?
I'm up Mount Chirripó.
Okay.
Yeah, it's up from Dominical, up an hour from the Pacific.
Gotcha.
Up in the mountains, yeah, the highest mountain. So
Beautiful. I've actually never been. I've only seen pictures, but I mean, it's just beautiful country.
yeah, well, you're always welcome. I'm 6
I
hours
appreciate
here.
that. Thank you.
I have a
Thank you.
retreat center, so
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Nice. Okay. I'm guessing very similar to what Mel does.
What? No, I teach psychosomatic therapy.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
body language, and I'm
Oh, wow.
co-producing with
yeah,
Mel
that's
on this.
interesting stuff.
Okay, let's see if we can get this to play properly.
Oh, I know this guy.
And I'm not sure at what point you guys are going to start listening to when I say, when they tell you to look this way, there's a whole nother narrative going on this way. As you're so caught up on the Jeffrey Epstein files and just waiting for something to happen, your whole financial system's being rewired. 6 years ago, Trump said, I am not a fan of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, which are not money. Pay attention to what I'm saying. and whose value is highly volatile and based on thin air. Unregulated crypto assets can facilitate unlawful behavior, including drug trade and other illegal activities. That was 6 years ago. And remember, Larry Fink, the largest asset manager in the world that runs BlackRock, said it's used for money laundering. And that very person, Trump, who told you this, came back and ran as the Bitcoin capital of the world and the crypto president, and also created a Bitcoin strategic reserve. And 3 years ago, I showed you the video on my YouTube channel. He said he's been buying crypto and Bitcoin. So in 2023, 3 years ago, Larry Fink from BlackRock said, I made a mistake. It's a flight to quality. I'm all in on Bitcoin. BlackRock is the #2 holder in Bitcoin now. America's #4 holder. And out of Satoshi, some pseudonymous person that we don't know, the top 4 holders outside of Satoshi are all in America. BlackRock, Strategy B, Grayscale, and America. And Bo Hines, executive director for digital assets, the executive director for Trump, when asked, said, how much Bitcoin do you guys want to buy? As much as possible. Wait a minute. I thought they said it's used for illicit trade and drug dealing. Then why on earth would they be going all in on it now? Why on earth would this week be the most important week in cryptocurrency, where you now have stablecoin regulation that's about to pass the House and an act that'll pass for give clear rules of the road for your banks to operate in crypto? And the Trump family is now massive in cryptocurrency. They have their own DeFi platform, guys, called World Liberty Financial. Damn well I invested in it. So I've been telling you guys since 2020, when all this was tinfoil hat, that banks were going to custody your cryptocurrency, that XRP and Bitcoin are going to be #1 and #2. And here we are. The plane is now landing. But the fact is, we're drunk in the Coliseum. You're worried about the wrong things. And you're shocked that politicians are lying to you. And you're chasing and dangling this kid or dangling this carrot as your whole system changes. There will never be an opportunity like this ever again to invest in the new financial system. You're moving from an inflationary US dollar. Trump wants a weaker dollar, to a deflationary system, a new blockchain technology, on-demand liquidity, real-time payments. Bitcoin is the new gold and store of value. America has a Bitcoin strategic reserve. Countries around the world are trying to catch up with America now in crypto. XRP will rewire the financial system. My top 3 holdings are XRP, Bitcoin, and Solana. My top 6 are XRP, Bitcoin, Solana, XLM, HBAR, and VeChain. I stick with RWA. Stay as far as you can from meme coins. Stay as far as you can from get rich quick. You want to get rich quick, go to the casino, go to the gas station, buy a lottery ticket. This is about understanding the new infrastructural change in the financial system. Imagine being in Manhattan when it was flatland, and they're being like, we're going to build apartments and buildings straight up and put thousands of people in them. And you were the first families to invest in that. That's the moment that we're facing now. And I'm speaking from experience. From 2020 to 2025, our family's life has changed financially in the cryptocurrency space and outside. And from 2025 to 2030, we're now going to start the generational wealth pattern. So I'd get my shit together. I would dial the F in. I would get disciplined. I'd stop doomsday scrolling. I would study this like my life depended on it, because there's going to be no middle ground. You're either going to own it or you're going to be consumed by it. The middle class is getting wiped out. Leverage source student technology, we're moving down to the working poor. Yes, you're going to feel rich over the next 3 years. You're going to put a lot of money in your pocket, a lot of cash, which is trash. As they're printing money, lowering interest rates, guess what's happening? Play the game Monopoly. The Trump family owns a ton of real estate, now a ton of crypto. Crypto's deflationary. Real estate will always be here. The person who holds the cash always loses in Monopoly. Warriors, rise! Get your shit together.
Yeah, that's pretty freaking accurate, you know. But
I loved the analogy of being in Manhattan when there was nothing there.
I did too.
Yeah, I thought that was, you know, that stuck with me from the standpoint of, because that is, again, when I was going to spend $100 on Bitcoin in 2010, 15 years later, that $100 is now could be 1.2 billion.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, we are never going to see another opportunity like this ever in the history of the world.
Agreed. Agreed. And you know what? At 1 penny, you were already sort of late to the party. I want to be funny a little bit.
100%.
Right? Because it was 0.0008 of a penny when it first came out, the very first day that it was available. For that same $100, you would have gotten a lot more bang for your buck.
1,000%. I mean, with the first pizza, or what was the first transaction that ever happened was a pizza. Was the guy bought a pizza.
Yeah.
And I mean, they actually celebrate that day within the Bitcoin community. And that day, I think it was the pizza was like, I don't know, it was like 10,000 Bitcoin or something like that.
Yeah. Exactly.
So so the point I'm making, the point I wanted to make with that is that, there's a lot of people out there who, I'm just, if I can't hold it, then it's not worth it. Or I got to have it in my hands. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You want to buy your gold, you want to get your gold and silver, all good. But like what the gal in the video, like the girl said, even if you just have 50 to $100, something, if you get into it, because you know what, or crypto is like cell phones and email.
Yeah.
In 1995, nobody, if you would have said that in 10 years, everybody was going to be walking around with a phone in their hand and that the landlines were basically going to be a thing of the past, you just said, yeah, right. If you just said that you're going to have that everything is going to go digital and you're going to be using a computer to read your mail, you just said, yeah, right. So, and now, so now everybody, and then people will say, oh, but it's not, but if it's crypto, that's like digital money. What do you think you're using now? What do you think you've been using for the last 30 years?
Exactly. Precisely correct.
And, XRP is, when they talk about on-demand liquidity, this is, Mel, you'll love this because this is what you wanted me to do that one time and I forgot. I didn't remember what you were talking about. But I used, essentially what I did was I used the analogy of like Venmo or Cash App or something like that. Well, so XRP, or the SWIFT system, it takes 5 days to do a transaction when you're sending money cross-border. So, and that SWIFT system is something that is used to weaponize the dollar against people. So when you have countries like Iran, North Korea, or any of these other countries out there, or now Russia, anybody who doesn't want to participate in the global banking structure, they're labeled a terrorist organization or a terrorist country or this or that, and they literally can't participate in Western commerce. And the SWIFT system is the governing system that makes sure that they can't, because you can't send money across the border without going through SWIFT, at least digitally. So, but to go back to the analogy, when you send like you say, hey, could you send me some money? Can you send me $10 or $50 on Cash App? Okay. Well, Cash App knows that the money is in the bank. It communicates with your bank and it communicates with my bank, and it says, okay, I know that this guy's got $10, so I'm going to front the $10 for you.
Nostro accounts.
Yeah. So I'm going to front that $10 for you, or $50 or $100 or whatever it is. And on the back end, what you don't see is that it still takes a day or two for that transaction to reconcile at the bank level, because we don't have immediate reconciliation stuff. It's but that's coming. That's coming with the ledgers. But the whole point there is that XRP is essentially going to be like a Venmo on steroids for businesses who are conducting transactions cross-border.
Yeah. Well, yesterday there was a video that came out that I also shared with a few people. I'm not sure who I shared it with, but Dubai is now doing fractional ownership of real estate with XRP. They're fully on board, 100%, all in.
Well, I actually have heard. I was talking to Jim Willie actually not too long ago, and he's saying that in Dubai, they're actually accepting XRP as payment for like utility bills.
Hmm? Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, Dubai for all of its flaws is definitely ahead of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so is Japan.
Well, and so is the United States now.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. A lot of this technology and things that are coming, I just don't think, I don't know. I get the trepidations about AI, but I'm not going to live my life in a state of fear when every single freaking person on the planet has been, every doomsday prediction that's ever come around. It's like every single one of them, they never materialize. There may be elements of it that, okay, yeah, I could see, yeah, but it's, if you, on a scale of 1 to 100, you maybe it's like a 2 or a 3. I mean, it didn't have this significant impact. I mean, I think one of the biggest examples is Y2K.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody was, oh, well, the computers, they're operating on four-digit years, and this is only 2 digits. So when it goes to 00, it's going to turn off. And so how many millions of dollars were spent as a result of Y2K?
Yeah.
For what?
Absolutely. Well, look at this. This is a new channel, and there's going to be a lot of very professional, beautiful people like this lady here coming to the space of podcasting that are going to take it to the next level. And so go give her a follow. She's Crypto Riches. She's only got like less than 2,000 followers. Hopefully I can get her on my show and we can launch her. We've launched quite a few. We've launched digital, Dave from Digital Outlook. We launched, what's her name back in the day? Molly Elmore only had less than 2,000 subscribers. She came on my show, blew her up. So if this lady gets the message,
what's the channel?
It's Crypto Riches. Yeah, she's very polished. Look at this.
Alone, over $399 million worth of property was tokenized. This isn't a side project. It's a government-grade blockchain rollout. Dubai just launched the world's first government-backed real estate tokenization platform on the XRP ledger. UAE residents can now invest in fractional shares of real estate. No huge down payment, no paperwork nightmares, just quick, secure ownership. This is the kind of thing that crypto's been promising for years, and now it's finally happening. Dubai didn't pick XRP because it's trendy. They picked it because it checks every box: speed, cost, scale, sustainability, and compliance. Real estate on the blockchain, powered by the XRP ledger, backed by the government, and built for the future.
Now, I put the link in here so that people can go follow her. It's the last link that I posted in here. As a matter of fact, let me share that. There it is. Okay, go follow her. She's amazing. She's gonna be like 100,000, 200,000 if she doesn't get into the conspiracy stuff like I do. If I get into the conspiracy stuff, then all of a sudden you're marked for death, right? You're marked for
well, that's why you do multiple channels. Where you one where you can go a little bit more free and one where you don't.
Right. Yeah, well, I do that, but I talk about the same things. They're live on all of them right now.
that's you know what, Mel, that's just because you're cut from a different cloth. You're cut from the cloth of the zero fucks to give cloth.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, that's why I'm doing this really as a selfish thing to myself, and anybody who understands what my motive is can basically ride along. The patriots, the podcasters, etc. I'm fighting for everybody. It's not just about me. This is about a war on free speech. That's what this is. And so if people will understand that, it's not about me. It's about a war on free speech. And whether I like you or you hate me or we don't like each other, it's got nothing to do with that. Politics aside, egos checked at the door. Okay, let's get in on the same page. Let's crush these SOBs once and for all, and let them know that the United States of America has a constitution and it's got a freedom of speech. Now, if you want to do a executive order backed up by a bill, I'm all for that. This way, when we get a new president, God forbid we get the wrong president, they can maybe change the executive order if it's not written strong enough. But I think if it's written strong enough, they won't be able to do that. And also, at least you have a bill that says, wait, I know you changed the executive order because Trump is no longer president, but we still have a bill of rights for the internet, and it reads exactly the way it enforces basically the executive order, right? That's the way I think we should go about it. And if we could do that, it will be a win-win.
Yeah. Well, brother, we haven't been operating under the Constitution for a long time.
No,
I teach. I don't know if you know this, but I actually every week I do a show with Douglas Gibbs, and because he's a constitutional expert, and we teach the Constitution on my channel at Tuesdays, every Tuesday at I guess it's 5:30.
Give yourself a plug.
3:30. It's 3:30 Pacific, so 6:30 Eastern.
Yes.
On Untold History. So yeah, I teach the Constitution every Tuesday, and we go through it line by line, and it's very interesting. Right now, we're actually on the Second Amendment, which is a hot topic for a lot of people, and but I mean, we start at the beginning and we just go through it, and it's the problem with the government is they have been ignoring the Constitution, or essentially just bypassing it or circumventing it for a very long time. Long time. And I mean, going back to the Civil War, and I don't even like to call it the Civil War because that's not really what it was. I like to call it the War of Northern Aggression, because the Southern states did have a right to secede. And for those of you who question that, all you got to do is just go look and see what states were, how the northeastern states were actually trying to secede from the Union multiple times, like 2-3 times before that. I think the northeastern states tried to secede as a result of the War of 1812. So sure. Nobody talks about that, right? But anyway, I don't subscribe to the notion that we're a corporation and the 1871 thing. I think that's a complete misunderstanding. The 1871 deal was about the government, or how the government of Washington City at the time was going to be implemented, because it was essentially like 3 individual municipalities, and they were trying to kind of make it into one. And then that act, actually called the Organic Act of 1871, it was actually repealed 3 years later in 1874. So that didn't create a constitution. But what I do believe that people confuse that is the 14th Amendment, which really centralized control, and the interpretation of the 14th Amendment, which essentially centralized control at the governmental level. If you look at Alexander Hamilton and you look at Abraham Lincoln, they were basically, Lincoln was at Hamilton on steroids, and except for the fact that he didn't do a central bank. So I have to give Lincoln a little bit of credit, because he did do the greenbacks, but he did the greenbacks because of the war, the Mexican-American War. When they found the silver out in Nevada and the gold in California, that's what actually helped the United States fund the Civil War. So they didn't need the money from the banks of Europe to do it. But that's a whole nother topic for another day. But at the end of the day, they've been centralizing control and authority for a long time. I'm actually working on a large multiple piece article talking about how power was taken and centralized over time. And I was looking at do you realize that the banks, the bankers of the day, literally wrote letters to Congress, took out big, huge op-eds in all of the major newspapers, did massive campaigns arguing against the adoption of the Aldrich Plan, which ultimately became the Federal Reserve. And so the banks were trying to get the government not to do it. as a form of reverse psychology, because if the people are like, oh well, if the banks are against this, then it must be good.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, I know that probably Carol is going to call me and yell at me or scream at me or disagree with me and say, Mel, just worry about one project at a time. And slow down. She's always. But anyway, I already know what my next documentary is, and I'm going to get the entire United States of America so royally pissed off. Now, I won't tell you what it is, and nobody's going to know until it's time. But the American people are going to be so royally pissed off because we're going to show the proof beyond a shadow of a doubt that when they see what we have unveiled with irrefutable, irrevocable evidence, you cannot deny that that is exactly what you're looking at. And that's all I'll say. Their minds are going to explode and they're going to demand whatever it is they're going to demand. And I'm not going to let you know more than that. I'm just going to leave you on a cliffhanger. And it's going to be I even got the freaking perfect name that is going to be like, wow, how the hell did you come up with that name?
Uh-oh, we're in trouble.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess so. Okay.
Yeah. This is going to be equally as powerful, equally as good as this one. But first, we got to unclog the microphones. Guys, thank you for watching. We'll catch you guys on the next one. And spread the link out there. This is a great show. We wanted to grow legs. Sometimes we're the forecast. Sometimes we're the fifth element. Sometimes we're whatever. We have extra people on standby just in case some people have dentist appointments. What's her name? Laura had to travel. She travels a lot. She travels almost as much as I do. And so she's traveling again this week. I'm traveling on, I believe at the end of this month, I'll be in Dallas for a little bit.
I'm traveling next week too.
Yeah.
Josh Reed's event.
Yeah. So
where's that?
In Eureka, Missouri.
Okay.
It's a camping trip. Everyone's welcome and it's free.
God, I didn't know he was doing that.
Yeah, he does it every year apparently. But Jason Q will be there and a few different people.
Nice.
Yeah. So you're invited, Ron, if you want to come.
Well, yeah, a little short notice for me, but yeah, I'm not really quite sure that I want to be in the middle of I guess it'd be the Ozarks in summertime.
Yeah.
So not I'm in Southern California where it's dry and I mean it's warm, but it's not like 80% humidity.
Yeah.
So
and there's
anyway.
very little mosquitoes out there.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
And I live in mosquito capital of the world, Merritt Island.
My hat's off to you, brother, for being able to tolerate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have no mosquitoes here. I mean, that's unreal. I mean, that's very few.
Interesting.
Yeah. Are you going to play the trailer again?
You know what? Maybe we should. Right? What do you think? Is that a good idea?
Well, that's what I'm going to be suggesting to all the podcasters.
Yeah, let's do that one more time. Thank you for reminding me, Carol. For the latecomers, that's a good idea. Cue it up. And let me. I still have
and Ron does a beautiful part in this.
I did have I had a cameo in there. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Well, we made sure that because he is long overdue to get his day in the sun. I mean, long overdue. Because not to blow smoke up your butt. You're extremely talented.
Well, I appreciate that. It's not so much that I'm as talented as much as I've just been around for a long time.
Dear Mr. President.
Dear Mr. President.
Dear Mr. President. Dear Mr. President.
Dear Mr. President. Dear Mr. President. When did freedom of speech become a crime? In the land of the free, voices are vanishing. Opinions are policed. Truth is under fire. They say it's about safety. I say it's about silence. Who's watching the watchman? Who's filtering your feed? Who benefits from your silence? From the classroom to the newsroom, from Silicon Valley to Washington, D.C., who decides what you can say?
Censorship.
Censorship. Censorship.
The censorship.
Censorship. It's a much bigger threat to democracy than anything that we've seen in this country in the last 4 years, in the last 40 years.
Perfect one.
Our First Amendment is under assault, not just by big tech, but by government agencies. Voices are being silenced.
A world without censorship would mean we can freely expose the elections and, of course, child trafficking. I believe the American spirit would kick in if they had access to the real information.
We've had channels taken down from nearly every form of social media. We knew when you uttered the term fake news that you were up to something different. We're honored to contribute to this documentary on censorship.
I have only one thing to ask. I just only want to see some accountability from somebody. Just pull that pin and throw that grenade already, buddy. That's all every American wants to see, is just some accountability for the crimes against us all. Thank you, sir. And long live the Republic.
I think it's a job well done. I can't wait to get the second cut here, which with a little bit of luck, we should have. Well,
today to the Mel Carmine show.
no, we don't want that.
And
although we love Elisa, but let me delete that. Okay, stop screen share. There we go. Perfect. So anyway, the second cut should come this week for sure. I'm hoping to get it tonight. I don't know if I'm going to be lucky enough to do that, but if we do get it tonight and it passes my palate test, then we're doing a private screening with just a few people on the internet here, sharing the screen, and then we're going to work on getting the third cut. Once we get to the third cut, we should be very close to the final
launch,
the final version, and then it'll just minor tweaks, and then boom, then launch. Yeah,
nice.
So exciting stuff. Thank you guys for coming, and we'll see you next time. And you fellows out there, make sure you spread out the dearmrpresident.net, dearmrpresident.net. Spread it out there because the algorithms have already registered that in their algorithms. And if you guys really get to work, you should blow out the server. I should be putting a public service announcement out saying, don't publicize it anymore. We just crashed the server. You know what I mean? Then we know we're going to work.
Make sure you sign up on dearmrpresident.net. Sign up for the email. You'll be the first ones to get the first showing. So it's really important that you share that and get more people signed up. It's not like we're going to be sending out a lot of emails, but
exactly
we just want to see how many people are going to be on board right off the bat. So
precisely. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
Have a great day, everybody.
Nice meeting you, Ron.
You as well.